going to open. Now I'm going to open the meeting. First, I'd like to welcome Leah Wolkovich-Cordy to our committee from the Historical Commission. So welcome, Leah. The next order of business is to approve the minutes from August 17th. You should have received them via email, and there's a hard copy in front of you.
Madam Chair, I move passage of our August 17 minutes.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor of approving the minutes from August 17th?
Aye.
Aye. I think that was unanimous. Any opposed?
Can I abstain since I left the meeting early?
Thank you. Yes, one abstention.
Yep.
Thank you. All right. So with that, I will open up the public hearing comment section for the preliminary study review. Do we have anybody on Zoom?
We have two attendees. If you are on Zoom, you feel free to raise your hand if you have a comment. If you're on the phone, I believe it's *9 just to raise your hand.
And as we open it, if you have comments, if you could just state your name and address, please, and then you're welcome to share your comments. We will take down questions, and at the end, if there's time, we will do our best to answer them, and if not, we'll do our best to get you an answer.
I'm sure I don't see anyone on Zoom at this time, and this committee is well aware there's no one else present.
Okay. Was there somebody on the phone?
There is one person, but they're not raising their hand.
Okay. So we just wait a few minutes?
If you can keep this open as long as you want, Madam Chair.
All right. Well, I think while we wait to see if anybody else joins us in person or via Zoom, we'll just can we continue on with our discussions, or do I need to wait to close the meeting? Close the public hearing.
In order to move on to an further agenda, you would need to close the public hearing. So, I know you have two also former chairs and current chairs of other elected bodies here who could also provide guidance, and I would encourage them to speak up, as I am not 100% sure. Answer.
I think that's reasonable. That was a really good answer, though, Miles. Might be worth waiting 5 minutes.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
If anybody I'm happy to wait.
Sure. I concur.
Would it be appropriate to ask Mo if he's had any people approach him outside of the meeting?
Of course.
Comments from the public, your neighbors, just out of curiosity?
People have asked, but nobody has given me any negative feedback. I'm just curious about what it's about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anybody else have some comments from outside of this meeting?
I raised it at a planning board meeting, and the planning board had no comment either as a board nor any individual members.
Okay.
So.
Excellent. Thank you.
And Madam Chair, I do think this also would be an appropriate time if you would like Mo to speak about MHC.
Mo, if you'd like to share from the Mass Historical Commission Zoom that you participated in on November 8th.
Yes, happy to. I attended by Zoom the meeting of the Massachusetts Historical Commission. And this proposal was presented by Jennifer Doherty, who has been working with the Historical Commission initially and then this committee. The discussion was very positive. There were a couple of other historic properties that were also on the docket. Their recommendation was to do exactly what we were doing. They've reviewed our materials, and they're happy that they meet all of the criteria. So they are recommending to Needham that Needham create this district through the process that is mandated by the state, which will require town meeting approval, hopefully in May.
Great. And when you say that body is recommending to Needham, how is that recommendation to be seen? Are they writing a letter or communicating in what way?
I don't know if they'll write a letter. They took an action. They voted on it. That's a very good question. I should have asked that, but didn't. I assume we'll get a letter, and if we don't, we can request it. Well, you said they took a vote. Was to recommend that Needham go through this process and establish a district for this particular property.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, please.
At that meeting, did they review any pictures of your property?
They reviewed pictures, and those materials from the meeting I sent to Miles Tucker from the town manager's office. I think they're on the,
Mhm.
are they available online, Miles?
Yes, they are included in the preliminary study report,
Yeah.
which is posted to the town's website under this committee page, which can be accessed from my government and subtab of all committees on the town's website.
And she sent us the slides from her presentation,
Okay.
which were largely provided by this committee and Allison's photographs.
Mhm.
So we can share those.
Excuse me, Miles, was this document posted to our,
The SharePoint?
the SharePoint as well? So this is the September 12th version? Great, thank you.
All right, well, we've given it several minutes and don't have anybody here. Do I need an official motion to close the public?
Yes,
I move that the hearing be closed.
I second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor of closing the public hearing? Chair votes aye. Any nay? Or abstentions? All right, thank you. So agenda item 3 was to review the timeline and work plan. So we talked about the planning board. We've talked about the Mass Historical Commission. So in terms of the timeline, we have received some feedback on not necessarily typographical, but just some capitalization in the bylaw that we don't typically have in our bylaw. So we're going to make some edits to that, but not substantive edits to the actual bylaw before we submit it to the select board for their putting it on the warrant for town meeting. And the timeline is up on the screen now, so I can't see that. I'll see this one. Okay. So we've presented to the select board. We've had the MHC review. We are at the public hearing. So the plan would be next to draft
The final study.
the final study. I don't think we need to have another meeting with Mass Historical Commission because they've encouraged us to move forward with what we have. So we'll, with support from the town staff, we'll draft the final study report and the bylaw with town council fixing any typographical errors. And then we need to hold another meeting to approve that and recommend it to the select board. Okay. And that is proposed for January 24th.
January of 2024.
Oh, 2024. Yes. I
It
see
looks
that.
like under December 23, the eve of Christmas Eve.
No, it's 20.
I know, I just did the same thing.
Thanks very much, Kimberly. Right. Okay, do we need another meeting in December to discuss the final study report in open session, or that's what we're going to do in January?
It'd be up to the chair in this committee, given that there are no comments from the planning board or the historical commission, state, or any comments received here in the session or prior. Unless this board deems it critical to meet relative to the administrative error issues, a vote on a relatively unchanged document would likely not require a meeting.
So to be clear, the minor edits that need to be made to the preliminary study report are going to be done by the chair and Mr. Heap, or?
So Miles, if you want to share what you were saying before about the capitalization in the bylaw, it's not how we typically.
Kim made a comment specifically about the study. Did you mean the bylaw?
No, I meant the PSR. It does need some legal edits. Yeah.
Yes, and specifically, the plate that's provided by the Mass Historical Commission has certain things saying specifically the committee, referring to the Historical District Committee that would be established if this bylaw were to be approved. It's all caps. And our town bylaws generally do not have all capitalizations of words. So we'll simply drop to lowercase every letter but the first C. There's only one C in that word. So, and stop making things all caps when that would not fit within our bylaws. But
So it's stylistic, it's not substantive.
exactly, there would be no substantive changes unless at some time in between now and a future meeting, the chair via the rest of this board would wish to see additional changes, which at that point I would recommend to the chair the scheduling of another meeting. But
Right.
unless there are substantive changes that members of this body would like to see, then there are no substantive changes.
And I mean, town council was present at our last meeting, spoke on the significant length of the composition of the bylaw and a number of modifications, and is also going to review, I think, another draft before it advances in the process. Correct?
That would be correct. As we did with the PSR, the final draft, I would be working with the chair as well as town council to ensure that things were basically up to code, for lack of a better term.
So then in January, we would meet to review the final study report and potentially the bylaw.
Which would be in the study report, and then take a vote at this committee to recommend
Right, of
the
course.
select board.
Right, to be included then in town meeting warrant.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's fun.
So consensus in the January meeting as opposed to December.
Yes,
Okay. Should we schedule that now?
sure.
Do you have a date, Miles, by when it needs to be submitted to the select board?
Their meetings would be, and I do not have a date that the select board has currently scheduled to open the warrant. That's traditionally done in January, the first or the second meeting. I don't recall 100% off the top of my head, but they would be meeting on either January 9th or January 23rd, but that would be to open the warrant.
Understood. Okay, so we're well ahead of their deadline. I'm going to throw out a date, Wednesday, the 17th. January.
Works for me.
Could move me away.
You're good? No?
I don't know. I'm on break and
You can zoom.
that's right. All right. So yeah, I'm in.
You want to vote on the
I'm
grades?
available.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Do you like the 7 p.m. time? Previous meetings have been earlier at 6. Is there a consensus of timing?
I have no
Earlier's
preference.
better.
7?
I prefer 7.
Great. Then let's schedule it for 7 p.m. on Wednesday, the 17th, please. And I believe we'll be meeting in the Great Plain Room downstairs. Great.
If that's available. If not,
You'll let us know. Okay. Excellent. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
The photographs are great. Will those be included in the file?
Yes.
Good. Might I suggest we add one that's not of the house specifically because it's the parcel in its entirety, right? Not just the home. Correct. So
Okay.
maybe from the other intersection, is it Cary Road and Webster?
So we can take one from the corner of the backyard. I mean, there's a
Yeah,
we can do
maybe
both.
show the yard,
We can
like,
do one
Because it
outside.
seems like this is all about the house.
There.
The photos seem it's all about the house, which
Backyard.
it's the parcel, I believe.
Good distinction.
I don't know if that's
It
important
affects
to
the-
people.
Yes, it is the parcel, but it also specifically affects the facades that face public ways, which is Cary, Webster, and Rosemary.
Right, which we've captured really well, 2 out of those 4, I think. Well, no, we captured the 3rd, but just maybe, I don't know. I'm
With
just-
that is.
Talking out loud.
We can
Yeah.
definitely include that because you're right. When you look at the map.
And maybe when the foliage is down, we'll see it better.
Let me just write that. Cary Road. Okay, we can do that. Any other suggestions or comments? Right. We've scheduled a future meeting. I guess, is there a motion to adjourn?
Move we adjourn,
I
Madam Chair.
will second.
Okay. All in favor of adjourning the meeting?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that was all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.